You can turn off the exterior lights when the vehicle's running by just choosing the off position on the headlight switch. The parking lights are now on, and what illuminates here in the front is the daytime running lights, the LEDs, looking really nice. And then there's an amber side marker here in the front. The tail lights are also on, and you have the little side marker there, not super bright, but you can see it there from the side. And then you have the red tail lights. Now they have just a single bulb in there, and it has a kind of reflector lens. Let me turn the brightness down a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. If you can see in there. But it's not like it's filled in the whole thing. But it does a good job of reflecting the light, and so you can see the pattern that the taillights are going for, but it's not filled in all the way. Here's the turn signal indicator, and it is a standard bulb, halogen, amber in color. And you see it's right there, right below the headlights. Turn signal indicator here on the side mirror, and it's visible from the front, the side, and the back. Not very bright there on the front and side though, a little bit brighter this way. And there's an amber halogen turn signal here in the back. The low beams are a multi-reflector LED system. You can see, let me turn the brightness down once again. See, it's multiple reflectors in there. They kind of blend together and add light to the road, and hopefully it won't be patchy. We'll see. And the cutoff is about 2 feet off the ground, a little bit over 2 feet off the ground, the cutoff. We're going to see this going down the road, but let's go ahead and switch to the high beams. And the high beams basically just adds an additional light there in the center. So just additional light there, illuminated there in the middle, and kind of fills in the entire headlight. Looking at the cargo area, it does have a single light here in the center, and it's a halogen light, not very bright, and it's okay, it's better than nothing, but it doesn't illuminate the sides here at all, and it just kind of needs to be brighter. I would certainly change the bulb to make it brighter. That would help out a lot, but having 2 lights would be a lot better. The inside of the back door has no lights whatsoever, no pocket lights, nothing like that. No lights here for find the switches or anything. And then the back seats only illuminated by this center dome light, and that's it. So there's no lights at all back here except for this one USB charge port right here. Other than that, completely dark. Inside of the driver's side door, there's no lights in the pockets here, or here, and then you do have some backlit buttons here, but the door locks are not illuminated. Only one power window is, and then here is a little bit illuminated, but just kind of sparsely. Now we do have a sill plate that has the Versa name illuminated, and the front lights are only illuminated by this center part here and the dome light, which is a lot better here in the front. There is actually a light in the pocket. It's just so dim I didn't even notice it before. It's only in the darkest of light, the darkest of areas in which you can see it. I blasted the camera up really high so you can see the light right here, but it does have a very subtle light here in the pocket, here in the front. I have the interior lights on, so you can see what it looks like here. And when I turn off the interior lights, we're left with the backlit buttons here. And there's no lights on the floorboard or anything, but there is a lot of backlit buttons. So backlit illuminated buttons here on the steering wheel, on the doors. There's the gauges, and to adjust the gauge brightness, right here, there's a little dial. Turn it like so. You can go all the way down to completely dark, and then you can kind of bump it up like so. Keep on going, then it's super bright. And it adjusts the backlit buttons as well when you do that. So you can see the steering wheel and the other backlit buttons are also adjusted when you do this. So it's very traditional dial there and easy to use. Now the brightness on the screen is adjusted in the settings, so you have to go into the settings for the screen brightness, which is separate. But we have some more backlit buttons here. You have the shifter. Now there's a compartment here that's completely dark. And I'll turn on the interior light so you can see what I'm talking about. That's dark. This area here is dark. This compartment here is dark. But it does have a USB backlit button there. USB charge port that is backlit. So you can see it right in there. But the rest, everything else is dark. Glove compartment's dark. So up here is above the rearview mirror is a emergency roadside assistance button, and everything right in here for turning on the interior lights is dark. So the light that actually what you need when it's dark is actually not illuminated. So that's not good. But you can turn it on. All on here, all off, or have it turn on with the door in the center position here. And then you can turn on individual reading lights. But once again, you know, everything's dark. It does have a mirror, but no light. Once again, a dark area. Here is the pattern of the headlights here on some bushes. We're gonna look at it going down the road. There's the high beams, there's the low beams. You can see it just adds light. It maintains those low beams, but it just adds the high beams, basically. We're going to turn on the automatic high beams while we're driving, see how they work. Okay, so there's the low beams right there, and the cutoff is not very sharp. It's just kind of low, but not a sharp, clear line. And there's the high beams, and we're adding light, but it's not a huge difference. So now we're using the automatic high beams. They seem to be working okay. Okay, so there is, you can see there's like a patch of brightness in the center of the road, which is good. But we can see there on the sides, we can see a little bit at the distance. But as far as like just overly bright headlights, they're not that impressive. They're kind of on the, you know, mid to low range as far as brightness and pattern wise. But they are adequate. They're LED and they're white. That helps out a lot with the overall visibility and stuff. When you're lacking a little bit in brightness, it's not like overly lacking, but it's just not overly impressive. We can see a decent distance. I think the low beams, see, the low beams are a little bit dim, and then when the high beams turn on, it brings it up to a decent brightness, but it's still just not the distance and the sharpness, I guess. I think what it is the reflectors are not, it's the light's a little bit too scattered for the amount of output that we're having. So if the housings were utilizing that light a little bit better, I think it would be better, but just the brightness level would also be better, especially low and high beams, actually. Yeah, there's certain times in which, you know, you can see pretty good, but there's other times in which it seems like it's a little lacking, especially the distance, and also the evenly lit. So since you have a lot of different reflector lights, having them overlapping to where they're not patchy is a good thing. Now this one's a little bit patchy because we have brighter here in the center and not so bright on the sides, but I still think these are adequate headlights for the type of vehicle and the amount of money you're paying. These are not bad headlights. They're just not overly impressive, that's all. And so far the automatic high beams seem to be working okay.